The space station Zephyra 9 floated silently in the black void, a colossal structure made of silver metal and glowing blue lights. Ships from dozens of star systems docked here, carrying merchants, diplomats, and travelers. Among them walked Lyra, a young alien woman with pale violet skin and shimmering silver hair. Her large, luminescent eyes constantly scanned the crowds, but her attention was fixed on one thing: humans. Humans were rare on Zephyra 9. Only a few had come through in the last decade. Stories about them were legendary: fearless explorers, skilled diplomats, and incredibly adaptable. Lyra had read every report, watched every hologram, and listened to every rumor. Still, no story compared to seeing a human in real life. Today, a new human delegation was arriving. Lyra could feel her heart beat faster. She had prepared herself for this moment for weeks, choosing her outfit carefully, smoothing her hair, and practicing a calm expression. Yet when the transport ship landed and the airlock hissed open, she felt a flutter of nervous excitement. Among the humans, one man immediately caught her eye. Captain Aiden, tall and broad-shouldered, moved with quiet confidence. His dark hair fell slightly over his forehead and his eyes were sharp but kind. Unlike most humans described in the reports who seemed reckless or brash, Aiden exuded calm strength. He spoke to his crew with clarity and respect, but there was an aura about him that drew attention without demanding it. Lyra's friends had often teased her. "You will never meet a human like that," one had said. "Don't get your hopes up." But Lyra could not stop herself from watching him. She had secretly desired to meet a human like Aiden, someone brave, intelligent, and composed. The station was busy. Merchants bargained in alien languages. Robots carried cargo along conveyor belts, and holographic signs flashed directions. Lyra walked among the crowd, pretending to be casual, but every glance she stole at Aiden sent a thrill through her chest. As fate would have it, a minor accident gave her a chance. A cargo crate, unfastened from the transport belt, slipped and began to tumble toward the walkway. Without thinking, Lyra darted forward and pushed Aiden out of the way. The crate crashed behind them with a metallic clang. Aiden looked at her, eyes wide with surprise. "Are you okay?" he asked in a deep, calm voice. His accent was strange but not harsh, and his tone carried warmth. Lyra nodded quickly, brushing a hand over her hair. I'm fine." "You are safe." Her voice sounded steadier than she felt inside. A small smile tugged at the corner of Aiden's lips. "Thanks, that was quick thinking." Her heart leaped. He had noticed her. He had spoken to her. It was nothing," she said softly, looking away. She hoped he could not see her cheeks flushing. The incident was brief, but it left an impression. Aiden continued to walk with his delegation, but he glanced back once as if he had remembered her. Lyra felt a spark of hope. Perhaps this was the beginning of something she had longed for in secret. Over the next few days, Lyra found excuses to cross paths with the humans. She observed them from afar, learning their mannerisms, their way of speaking, and their habits. She noticed that Aiden treated everyone, crew, aliens, and humans alike, with fairness and respect. There was no arrogance in him, only calm confidence and genuine curiosity about the world. Her admiration grew. It was more than simple curiosity. It was a fascination with how humans could be strong yet gentle, brave yet thoughtful. Every time she saw Aiden, her chest tightened with excitement and longing. She realized she had secretly desired this connection, this chance to understand a human up close and, perhaps if she was lucky, to be noticed by him personally. Then one afternoon, a public diplomatic event was held in the main hall of Zephyra 9. Alien diplomats from several systems attended, and the humans were center stage. Lyra watched from the crowd as Aiden spoke with other leaders. His voice was calm and commanding, yet friendly. He laughed at a clever joke from a Lurian diplomat, and his smile, so genuine, made Lyra's heart skip a beat. After the formal speeches, there was a mingling period. Lyra lingered near the refreshments, trying to act casual, but her eyes followed him constantly. Her mind raced with questions. What would she say if she could talk to him? Could she impress him with her knowledge? Could she even make him notice her beyond a passing glance? As luck or destiny would have it, Aiden approached her. He had been speaking with other diplomats and seemed to pause, his gaze meeting hers. Lyra felt her pulse quicken. "Hello," he said simply. His tone was friendly, not formal. Lyra's throat felt dry. She managed a soft, "Hello," I noticed you earlier when the cargo crate fell, Aiden said, tilting his head slightly. That was very brave of you. Lyra's heart pounded. He remembered. He had seen her action and appreciated it. She nodded quickly, trying to appear calm. It was nothing. I just reacted. Aiden smiled. Quick reactions can save lives. That is worth noticing. They talked briefly about the incident and then about the station itself. Lyra was careful, keeping her curiosity in check, but she felt a warmth growing inside her. Every word he spoke, every glance he gave felt special. She realized she wanted more than admiration from afar. She wanted to understand him, to be near him, and to share ideas with him. The conversation was interrupted by a loud announcement, a warning about a minor energy surge in the docking bay. Aiden excused himself politely, leaving Lyra standing there, her chest still racing. She watched him go, a mixture of excitement and nervous longing twisting inside her. That night, Lyra could not sleep. She floated to the observation deck, staring at the stars beyond the station's glass walls. Her mind replayed the brief encounter over and over. She realized something profound. She had long desired humans, but now it was not just curiosity. It was personal. She wanted to know Aiden, to understand him, to be noticed by him in return. She also realized that humans were different in ways that inspired admiration. They were not just strong physically. They had courage, empathy, and the ability to connect deeply with others. Lyra felt a desire to learn from them, to grow alongside them. Her admiration had transformed into inspiration and, more quietly, into hope. The next morning, Lyra arrived early at the station's central hub. She watched as humans moved among the crowd, interacting with aliens, laughing and sharing stories. She noticed Aiden speaking to a group of young cadets, teaching them how to operate a complex navigation console. His patience and clarity impressed her. Even in small ways, humans carried qualities that made them extraordinary. Lyra realized she could no longer remain a passive observer. She had to act. She would find a way to speak with Aiden again, to share her ideas and perhaps slowly to build a connection. The desire she had kept secret for so long had now become her guiding motivation. And somewhere deep inside, she also admitted something she had never allowed herself to say. She wanted Aiden to notice her, not just for her actions, but for who she was. That hope, small and fragile, burned brightly. It was the beginning of a journey that would change her life forever. The stars outside twinkled silently as if promising possibilities beyond imagination. Lyra took a deep breath and smiled. Tomorrow she would take the first real step toward the human she secretly desired. The morning sun reflected softly on the silver walls of Zephyra 9, bathing the station in pale light. Lyra moved through the corridors with careful steps, trying to appear calm. But inside her mind was alive with excitement. She had decided that today, she would find a way to speak to Captain Aiden again. Humans were rare here, and opportunities to meet one personally were even rarer. Lyra had watched Aiden interact with others, noting how he listened carefully, laughed gently, and treated everyone with respect. These qualities fascinated her. Unlike many alien leaders who relied on power or intimidation, Aiden inspired loyalty simply through patience, understanding, and clever thinking. She waited near the central lab, hoping to catch him during his rounds. Her plan was simple: offer to help with a small experiment and hope he would accept. Humans, she knew from her studies, valued initiative and intelligence. If she could show both, perhaps he would notice her in a meaningful way. Aiden appeared, checking on a group of alien scientists as they calibrated a complex device. His dark hair fell slightly over his forehead, and his calm presence filled the room. Lyra felt a nervous thrill as she stepped forward. "Captain Aiden," she began, trying to steady her voice. I would like to assist with your work today, if you permit." Aiden turned, eyes landing on her. For a moment, he simply observed her, and Lyra felt as if he could see every thought racing through her mind. Then he smiled, small but genuine. "Of course," he said. "We could always use an extra pair of hands." "What's your specialty?" Lyra felt relief flood her chest. She explained her knowledge of alien engineering and theoretical physics. Aiden listened carefully, nodding at appropriate points, asking questions that challenged her understanding without making her feel inferior. As they worked together, Lyra observed the human's approach. He was methodical yet creative. He encouraged collaboration, asked for opinions, and even admitted when he didn't know something. It was a rare combination of humility and confidence, and it impressed her deeply. During a pause, Lyra ventured to ask, "Captain, humans are said to adapt quickly to new environments. Is that true?" Aiden considered the question. "Yes," he replied thoughtfully. "We learn from observation and experience. Sometimes we fail, but we try again. Adaptation is a survival skill, but it is also a way to grow." Lyra nodded. She felt a spark of understanding. Humans were not just physically strong. They were mentally resilient and morally flexible. That combination, she realized, was why they were respected across the galaxy. Over the next few hours, they worked on several experiments, testing alien technologies and human modifications together. Lyra found herself learning at a rapid pace, inspired by Aiden's clear explanations and patient guidance. At one point, she miscalculated a sequence and the device emitted a small burst of light, startling both of them. "Careful," Aiden said, a hint of amusement in his voice. "Mistakes can teach more than success, though. We learn by trying and sometimes by failing." Lyra laughed softly. "I suppose humans are lucky to have failure as a teacher." "Not lucky," Aiden corrected gently. "Strong." Lyra's heart skipped a beat. Strong. That was exactly the quality she admired most about humans. As the day progressed, their conversation moved beyond technical matters. Aiden asked about Lyra's life on the station, her interests and her dreams. She shared cautiously, feeling both nervous and excited. She had never spoken to anyone, human or alien, with such openness. In return, Aiden spoke of Earth, of human cities floating above oceans, deserts transformed into green lands, and stars explored by courageous crews. Lyra listened, enraptured. The stories painted a picture of humans as daring, creative, and deeply connected to one another. She realized that her admiration was growing into something more profound, respect and inspiration mixed with curiosity and something she dared not name aloud. As evening approached, the lab quieted down. Scientists returned to their quarters, leaving Lyra and Aiden alone. The room was bathed in soft light from the observation windows, the stars of the distant galaxy sparkling beyond. "You learn quickly," Aiden said, breaking the silence. "I am impressed by your curiosity and dedication." Lyra felt a warmth spread through her chest. I want to understand humans," she admitted quietly. "Not just their technology, but their way of thinking, their choices, their courage." Aiden smiled, a small, thoughtful expression. "Curiosity is a gift. It drives us forward. And courage, well, that is something every being can cultivate if they choose to." Lyra looked down at her hands, feeling a strange flutter of emotion. She had admired humans from afar, but speaking to one, learning from one, even sharing small jokes and stories, was far more powerful than anything she had imagined. Over the next few days, their meetings became regular. Lyra joined Aiden in various activities, navigating simulation exercises, learning basic human combat strategies for emergencies, and discussing diplomacy and ethics. Each session deepened her understanding of humans and of Aiden himself. She noticed his patience, his empathy, his ability to inspire trust without commanding it. In turn, Aiden began to appreciate Lyra's intelligence, her keen insight into alien cultures, and her creativity in solving problems. He noticed her laughter, the way her eyes lit up when she discovered something new, and the quiet determination in her every action. One afternoon, Lyra accompanied him to a virtual reality training simulation. They navigated an alien battlefield together, working as a team to outmaneuver obstacles and complete objectives. At one point, Aiden was trapped in a virtual snare, and Lyra's quick thinking saved him. "You react well under pressure," he said afterward, eyes meeting hers. "Most beings would hesitate." Lyra felt her chest tighten. I have been learning from humans," she said softly. "From you?" Aiden's smile deepened, though he did not speak immediately. The pause was not awkward. It felt like a quiet acknowledgement of their growing bond. As the days passed, Lyra's admiration became a subtle longing. She did not understand all her feelings yet, but she knew she wanted to spend more time with Aiden, to learn, to grow, and to experience the courage and compassion humans embodied. Every lesson, every shared story, every laugh drew her closer to him. Yet beneath the excitement, Lyra felt nervousness as well. She wondered if it was appropriate for a young alien woman to desire the company of a human so strongly. She feared judgment, cultural misunderstandings, or rejection. Still, she reminded herself, humans valued honesty, courage, and effort. If she showed sincerity, perhaps she could bridge the gap between admiration and friendship. One evening, after a long day of simulations, Lyra and Aiden stood at the observation deck, watching the stars move past the station. The galaxy stretched endlessly before them, full of mysteries and possibilities. "I never thought I would meet a human in person," Lyra admitted quietly. "And now, I feel like I have so much to learn." Aiden glanced at her, a soft smile playing on his lips. "We all have much to learn," he said. "And sometimes the best way to learn is together." Lyra felt a warmth she could not describe. Together. That single word carried hope, promise, and the possibility of connection. She realized that her secret desire, to know a human, to understand him, to be inspired by him, was no longer a distant dream. It was becoming reality. As the stars glittered beyond the station windows, Lyra made a quiet vow to herself. She would continue to learn from humans, to grow alongside them, and to honor the trust and bond forming between her and Aiden. She did not know what the future held, but for the first time, she felt certain of one thing: meeting a human, learning from a human, and connecting with one had changed her life forever. The galaxy beyond Zephyra 9 seemed wider, brighter, and full of possibilities. And for Lyra, the journey had only just begun. The calm of Zephyra 9 did not last long. Rumors of a rogue cargo freighter, AI-controlled and malfunctioning, had begun to circulate. The freighter had broken free from its docking restraints and was moving erratically toward the station. Panic rippled through the corridors as alarms blared and lights flashed red. Lyra had just finished a training session with Aiden when the announcement came. She felt her chest tighten, but it was not fear, it was determination. She had learned from humans like him that courage was not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. Aiden immediately took command. "Everyone, stay calm. Follow protocols. We will handle this together." His voice carried the steady authority that had first drawn Lyra to him. She noticed how other humans and aliens alike trusted him, responding to his commands with focus and efficiency. Lyra's mind raced. She wanted to help, to do something meaningful rather than hide. She rushed toward the control hub, hoping to offer assistance. The corridors were crowded, and some diplomats tried to block her path. "This is dangerous," one shouted. "I know," Lyra said firmly. "But I can help. I know the systems." She did not wait for permission. Her knowledge of the station's engineering systems gave her the confidence to act. At the control hub, Aiden was already coordinating teams. Screens displayed the rogue freighter's trajectory, showing the potential points of impact. Engineers shouted calculations, and robots moved swiftly to reinforce barriers. Lyra approached Aiden cautiously, but he looked at her and nodded. "Good timing," he said. "We need every capable mind. Can you help with recalibrating the docking magnets?" Lyra swallowed and moved to the console. The calculations were complex, but she remembered her lessons, combining alien knowledge with human problem-solving techniques. She worked quickly, guided by Aiden's calm instructions. Minutes felt like hours. The freighter lurched unpredictably, and every correction seemed to require more effort. Lyra felt sweat on her forehead, her hands trembling slightly, but she focused on the task. Each adjustment she made was a small victory, each recalibration a step closer to preventing disaster. Aiden glanced at her once and gave a small, encouraging smile. That simple gesture gave her strength. She realized then that humans did not just inspire through words, they inspired through trust and acknowledgement. Suddenly, the freighter made a sudden, dangerous shift. The docking magnets could not hold it fully. Engineers shouted, trying alternative methods. Aiden's voice cut through the chaos. "Lyra, we need a precise override. Can you handle it?" Lyra nodded without hesitation. She understood the magnitude of the moment. Failure could mean damage to the station, loss of lives, or worse. She took a deep breath and focused. Drawing upon everything she had learned from humans and from her own instincts, she input the override commands, adjusting for momentum, angle, and energy output. The freighter shuddered, sparks flying as it collided lightly with the station's magnetic field. Then slowly it began to stabilize. Engineers cheered and Aiden exhaled, relief evident in his face. Well done, he said simply. Lyra felt a rush of pride, but it was mixed with amazement at what humans could achieve. Aiden's leadership had guided her, and her actions had contributed to the solution. The combination of human courage and alien ingenuity had saved the station from catastrophe. Once the immediate danger passed, the station's security teams escorted Lyra to a safe area. She was shaken but exhilarated. People were praising Aiden for his leadership, but Lyra knew the truth. Humans did not act alone. They inspired others to act, to be brave, and to trust in their abilities. That was their secret strength. Later, in the observation deck, Lyra and Aiden stood together, looking at the freighter now safely docked and secured. The stars outside were calm, as if nothing had happened. "You were incredible," Aiden said, turning to her. "You acted quickly and smartly. Many would have hesitated." Lyra shook her head, still catching her breath. I learned from you. From humans. I knew what to do because I watched and listened. You showed me how courage works." Aiden smiled, a gentle, proud expression. "Courage comes from practice, observation, and belief in yourself. And from having someone beside you who trusts you." Lyra felt a warmth spread through her chest. That phrase, "would someone beside you who trusts you," lingered in her mind. She realized that humans inspired not just through bravery, but through connection. They made others want to be better, stronger, braver. Over the next few days, the aftermath of the freighter incident brought both humans and aliens closer together. Lyra and Aiden continued their collaborative work, now with an added layer of trust and understanding. Lyra found herself more confident, taking initiative in ways she never had before. The challenge had changed her. The danger had taught her about strength, teamwork, and courage. But there were other forces at work. A rival alien diplomat, Vorin, had been observing Lyra's growing connection with the human captain. Jealous and suspicious, he whispered doubts among others, trying to undermine her credibility. "You spend too much time with him," he hissed to a colleague. "Remember your place. Humans are clever, yes, but their influence over others. Dangerous." Lyra overheard the comment. Anger and frustration rose inside her, but she refused to react publicly. Instead, she focused on her work, proving through action rather than words that humans were not threats. They were allies and teachers. Her admiration for Aiden and humans strengthened her resolve rather than weakening it. One evening, Aiden found her in the station's simulation chamber, reviewing the data from the freighter incident. "Lyra," he said, stepping closer, "I wanted to tell you something." She looked up, curious and slightly nervous. "Yes? You handled yourself brilliantly," he said simply. "Your actions saved time, energy, and probably lives. You have courage and intelligence. Both are rare even among humans." Lyra felt her chest tighten. I just followed what I learned. From you. From observing humans." Aiden's eyes softened. "Humans can teach many things. But what you did, that was you, not me. You trusted yourself. That is the real strength." Her mind swirled with emotion. Trust, courage, inspiration. These were not just words. They were lessons she would carry forward. She realized then that her admiration for humans was no longer distant or theoretical. It was deeply personal. She wanted to grow like them, to act with bravery, and to be worthy of the respect and trust she felt from Aiden. As they stood in the simulation chamber, the stars beyond the windows glittering silently, Lyra understood something profound. Humans did not dominate through fear or power. They inspired through action, empathy, and connection. They made others want to rise to the occasion. And in that moment she felt her desire, her secret longing, not just to know Aiden, but to be like the humans she admired, fully alive and courageous in her own right. The freighter incident had tested her, had challenged her in ways she never imagined. But it had also shown her that courage, trust, and determination were universal qualities, transcending species, culture, and distance. Humans were extraordinary not because they were invincible, but because they inspired others to be extraordinary as well. Lyra looked at Aiden and smiled faintly. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for showing me what it means to be brave." Aiden returned the smile, a quiet understanding in his eyes. "We all have much to learn from one another," he said. "Courage is just the beginning." As the station hummed softly around them, Lyra felt a new strength rising inside her. She no longer felt like a distant observer, merely admiring humans from afar. She was part of something greater now, A connection, a shared experience, and a growing bond that would continue to shape her. And deep down, she realized that her secret desire for Aiden had changed. It was no longer just a personal longing, it was a motivation to grow, to learn, and to become someone worthy of standing beside the humans she so admired. The galaxy beyond Zephyra 9 stretched endlessly, full of challenges, opportunities, and adventures yet to come. Lyra felt ready for all of it, knowing she was not alone. Humans, and Aiden in particular, had shown her the way, not through force but through courage, connection, and inspiration. And for the first time, Lyra felt truly alive. The station Zephyra 9 was quiet that evening, bathed in soft starlight streaming through the observation windows. After the freighter incident, life had returned to normal, but for Lyra, things felt different. She moved through the corridors with a sense of anticipation, her thoughts tangled with courage, admiration, and a growing feeling she could no longer ignore. Captain Aiden had been working late in the lab, reviewing reports from the recent incident. Lyra paused outside, hesitant for a moment before stepping in. She had practiced what she might say countless times, but her voice felt small when she tried to speak. "Lyra," Aiden said, noticing her. His tone was calm, warm, and familiar. "I was hoping you'd join me. I could use your perspective on the freighter recalibration data." Lyra nodded, stepping closer. She could feel her heartbeat quicken. Today, she decided she would speak honestly, not just about the data, but about herself. She had admired humans for years, but now, standing near one, her feelings had grown into something she could no longer hide. They worked together in silence for a while, reviewing charts and calculations. Lyra focused on the work, letting her nerves settle, but her mind kept drifting back to Aiden, the way he led without dominating, how he inspired others, and how he had quietly encouraged her to be brave during the crisis. Finally, she gathered the courage to speak. "Captain." "Aiden," she began softly, her voice trembling slightly. I need to tell you something." Aiden looked at her, his expression patient and kind. "Go ahead," he said. "Whatever it is, you can tell me." Lyra took a deep breath. "I have admired humans for a long time, but you are different. You inspire me, not just because of what you can do, but because of who you are. Your courage, your patience, your way of seeing the world, it makes me want to be better, and I think I care for you more than I expected." The words hung in the air. Lyra's eyes met his, searching for a reaction. She felt exposed, vulnerable, but also liberated. She had finally spoken her truth. Aiden's expression softened. He stepped closer, the warm light of the observation deck reflecting off his features. "Lyra," he said gently, "I am honored by your words. And I want you to know something. I have noticed you too. Your intelligence, your bravery, and your determination, they impress me greatly. And your courage today, during the freighter crisis, it was remarkable." Lyra's chest tightened. His acknowledgement was more than she had hoped for. She realized then that humans inspired not just admiration, but connection. They could make others feel seen, valued, and capable. Lyra began, unsure how to continue. "I was afraid to tell you, that you might not understand, or that it might be improper, but I could not keep it inside anymore." Aiden smiled gently. "There is nothing improper in honesty. Feelings, respect, admiration, they are universal. I am glad you told me. I feel the same way, Lyra. You have earned my respect and admiration, and something more." For a moment, silence wrapped around them, comfortable and reassuring. Lyra felt a warmth spread through her chest, a mixture of relief, joy, and excitement. The human she had secretly desired had returned her feelings, not just superficially, but with understanding, respect, and kindness. They continued to stand together, looking out at the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly, full of unknown worlds and adventures, yet at that moment Lyra felt as if nothing else mattered except this connection. "You inspire me too," she said quietly. I want to learn from you, and I want to be someone you can trust, someone who can stand beside you." Aiden's smile deepened. "And you are already that person, Lyra. Courage and trust are not measured by species. They are measured by heart and action. You have both." Lyra felt tears prick her eyes, not from sadness, but from the depth of emotion she had long suppressed. She had secretly desired a human like Aiden for years, and now she stood with him, recognized, valued, and understood. As the evening progressed, they talked openly, sharing thoughts about the station, their experiences, and the future. Aiden spoke of Earth, of human exploration, and of how humans learned from mistakes and built trust through courage and empathy. Lyra shared her experiences on Zephyra 9, her observations of human traits, and her hopes for the future. With each passing moment, their bond strengthened. They laughed together, debated ideas, and found common ground between human and alien perspectives. Lyra realized that admiration had grown into deep respect and friendship, and now, with her feelings acknowledged, into something resembling love. Later, they moved to the observation deck, overlooking the glittering expanse of the galaxy. Ships glided past, their lights reflecting like stars within stars. Lyra felt a quiet awe at the vastness of space, but also at the closeness she felt to Aiden. "You know," she said softly, "I never imagined I would feel this way about a human. I thought admiration would be distant, theoretical, but now standing here with you it feels real, and I want to be part of it. I want to grow, to learn, and to share these moments with you." Aiden nodded, his eyes reflecting the starlight. "And you are. Every day, you've grown so much in a short time, Lyra. Courage, intelligence, compassion, you have all the qualities humans admire most, and you inspire me too. You've shown me patience, creativity, and trust that are rare, even among humans." Lyra's heart swelled. She had long desired to understand humans, to learn from them, and to connect with one. Now she realized that desire was no longer secret. It was alive, mutual, and guiding her future. "Do you think we can keep learning from each other?" she asked, a small hope in her voice. Aiden smiled warmly. "Absolutely. That is the best part of connection. We learn, we grow, and we face challenges together. Humans are not perfect, but we inspire and support each other, and it seems you inspire me as much as I inspire you." Lyra's eyes shone with emotion. "Then I want to continue. To face challenges, to grow, to be with you." Aiden extended his hand, a gesture simple yet full of meaning. Lyra placed hers in it, feeling the warmth and strength of human touch. It was a quiet affirmation, a promise without words, that they would move forward together, learning, growing, and supporting one another for hours. They remained there, speaking softly, sharing stories, and watching the stars. Lyra felt an overwhelming sense of belonging. She had admired humans from afar for so long, but now she understood that humans were extraordinary not just in skill or courage, but in their ability to inspire, trust, and connect. And in that moment, she felt honored to be part of that world. As the night deepened, Lyra reflected on her journey. She had begun as a distant observer, secretly fascinated by humans and the qualities they embodied. She had admired from afar, longing to understand, to be inspired, and perhaps to connect. Then came opportunity, small moments, lessons, and finally, courage. She had acted, learned, and grown. And now she had crossed the threshold from secret admiration to mutual respect, connection, and trust. Aiden squeezed her hand gently. "Lyra, whatever challenges await us, know this. Courage, trust, and understanding will guide us. Together we can face anything. And I am glad you are beside me." Lyra smiled, her heart full. "I am glad too. I have wanted this. To learn, to grow, to share. For a long time. And now I know it is possible." The galaxy beyond Zephyra 9 seemed to stretch endlessly, full of unknown adventures, strange worlds, and new opportunities. Yet Lyra no longer felt small or insignificant. She felt inspired, strong, and connected. Humans had shown her the path to courage, and Aiden had shown her the meaning of trust and mutual respect. And as they stood side by side, looking out at the stars, Lyra understood something profound. Admiration could lead to inspiration. Inspiration could lead to courage, and courage could lead to connection that changed lives. For the first time, she felt certain of one thing. She would no longer admire from afar. She would face challenges, grow, and move forward with the humans she respected and the captain she secretly desired. And somewhere deep inside, she realized that her first true connection with a human, one built on admiration, courage, and trust, was only the beginning of a journey that would transform her life forever. The space station Zephyra 9 hummed quietly under the glow of distant stars. After the freighter crisis and the heartfelt confession, life on the station had slowly returned to routine. But for Lyra, nothing felt routine anymore. Every corridor she walked, every console she touched carried a renewed sense of purpose. She had learned courage, trust, and connection from Captain Aiden, and she knew her life would never be the same. Aiden, too, moved with quiet confidence. His leadership during the crisis had earned him even greater respect among humans and aliens alike. Yet what fascinated Lyra most was not just his skills or calm demeanor. It was the way he inspired those around him to act with courage, intelligence, and empathy. That inspiration was now a shared bond between them, one she cherished deeply. That morning, Lyra joined Aiden in the station's main lab. A diplomatic mission was being planned involving humans and several alien species. Their goal, to establish cooperative trade routes and cultural exchange programs. Lyra had been asked to assist, given her knowledge of alien technology and languages. "Good morning, Lyra," Aiden greeted her, his smile warm and familiar. "Ready to dive into another challenge?" Lyra nodded, her excitement barely contained. "Always. What's the task today?" They reviewed blueprints, analyzed alien data streams, and coordinated communication channels. As they worked side by side, Lyra realized how much she had grown. She no longer felt like an outsider observing humans. She was an active participant, trusted and respected. Every decision she made now carried weight, and every suggestion she offered was valued. After a few hours, they took a short break. Lyra watched as Aiden interacted with other delegates, listening carefully, asking thoughtful questions, and offering insights without dominating the conversation. She marveled at how humans could balance confidence and humility, strength and compassion. This balance, she realized, was what made them exceptional. "You know," Aiden said quietly, glancing at her, "I've noticed how much you've grown since we first met. You handled the freighter crisis with courage, and now you contribute here with skill and insight. I'm proud to have you on my team." Lyra felt a warmth in her chest. I've learned from you," she admitted. "From humans. And from facing challenges that I never thought I could handle. You showed me that courage is not about fearlessness, but about action." Aiden smiled. "Exactly. And you've shown that courage can inspire others, too. Humans are not the only ones who can teach and inspire. You've learned, adapted, and grown, and that is remarkable." Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent call from the station's control center. Another minor incident had occurred in the docking area. A small transport vessel was drifting toward a maintenance bay. It was not dangerous like the freighter, but it required immediate attention. "Shall we?" Aiden asked, already moving toward the control hub. Lyra followed without hesitation. Together, they coordinated the docking corrections, guiding the vessel safely into place. Their teamwork was seamless, built on trust, mutual respect, and understanding. Lyra realized how much she had internalized human qualities: patience, observation, and decisive action. She could feel herself growing stronger, not just in skill but in confidence and courage. Once the situation was resolved, the station's leadership held a small gathering to celebrate the successful collaboration between humans and aliens. Lyra watched as Aiden received quiet praise from diplomats and engineers alike. She felt proud, not just of him but of herself, for learning, acting, and standing confidently beside him. Later, as the crowd dispersed, Lyra and Aiden walked to the observation deck. The galaxy stretched endlessly before them, stars glittering like diamonds in the black expanse. Lyra felt a sense of wonder, not just at the universe, but at her own journey. She had moved from secret admiration to courageous action, and now to partnership with someone she deeply respected and cared for. "You know," she said softly, "I never imagined I could feel this, connected to someone, not just as a friend or a teammate, but as someone who understands and inspires me." Aiden glanced at her, his dark eyes reflecting the starlight. "Connection is rare, Lyra, but when it happens, it changes everything. You've shown me that courage and understanding are not limited to humans, and you've inspired me as much as I've inspired you." Lyra smiled, feeling a quiet joy. The secret desire she had once harbored had transformed into something deeper: mutual respect, trust, and companionship. She no longer felt distant or uncertain. She was part of a bond that transcended species, culture, and distance. The following weeks were filled with collaboration. Lyra and Aiden led teams of humans and aliens to explore new trade opportunities, negotiate cultural exchanges, and strengthen diplomatic ties. Lyra found herself applying everything she had learned from humans, observing carefully, taking initiative, communicating clearly, and acting decisively. Each success reinforced her belief in the qualities she admired and the strength she had gained. One day, As they prepared a mission to a nearby star system, Lyra paused to reflect. She realized that humans were extraordinary, not just for their physical abilities or technological advancements, but for the way they inspired courage, trust, and growth in others. Aiden exemplified that perfectly. He had shown her that even someone from a different world could rise to the occasion, face challenges bravely, and form bonds built on respect and admiration. "Captain," Lyra said quietly, "I want you to know, meeting you has changed me. I feel braver, stronger, and more certain of myself than ever before. I want to continue this journey, with humans, with you, and with everything we can learn together." Aiden nodded, his smile warm and steady. "And you will, Lyra. We'll face the galaxy together, learning, growing, and inspiring each other. There's no limit to what we can achieve." As they spoke, a small human cadet approached, holding a data tablet. "Captain, the Alien Council sent a message. They want to recognize Lyra's contributions formally." Lyra felt her cheeks warm. The recognition was unexpected but deserved. She had acted with courage, intelligence, and initiative. She had learned from humans, yes, but she had also proven herself in her own right. Aiden placed a hand lightly on her shoulder. "You've earned it, Lyra. Not because of me, but because of yourself. Humans value courage, intelligence, and integrity, qualities you have in abundance." The ceremony was modest but meaningful. Lyra stood before the council, her silver hair shimmering under the lights. She spoke briefly about the collaboration between humans and aliens, emphasizing mutual learning, respect, and trust. Her words were clear, confident, and heartfelt. When she finished, the council applauded. It was a moment of validation, not just for her achievements, but for the journey she had undertaken, one that began with admiration and had grown into courage, respect, and connection. After the ceremony, Lyra and Aiden returned to the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly, a reminder of the vast universe they would continue to explore. "Do you think," Lyra asked, "that humans and aliens can truly work together despite all our differences?" Aiden smiled. "I do. It takes effort, understanding, and trust, and the right individuals like you, who are willing to learn, grow, and inspire others. If we continue this way, there's no limit to what we can accomplish together." Lyra felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Her secret desire had been the starting point, but her journey had become so much more. She had learned courage, built trust, and formed a bond that transcended species. She felt ready to face any challenge the galaxy could present, knowing she was not alone. The next weeks brought more missions, more discoveries, and more opportunities to grow. Lyra and Aiden became a respected team, admired by humans and aliens alike. Their partnership inspired others on the station to cooperate, share knowledge, and support one another. And through it all, Lyra reflected on the journey that had brought her here. She had started as a curious observer, secretly fascinated by humans. She had admired from afar, longing to understand and to connect. Then came courage, action, and growth. Finally, she had crossed the threshold into mutual respect, understanding, and partnership. Standing beside Aiden on the observation deck, Lyra felt a quiet certainty. The galaxy was vast, full of unknowns, challenges, and wonders, but she had found courage, friendship, and trust, the qualities she admired most in humans. And she had found someone to share them with. Aiden looked at her, his expression calm, confident, and kind. "Are you ready for the next adventure?" he asked. Lyra nodded, smiling. "I am. With humans, with you, and with everything the galaxy has to offer." As they turned to leave, the stars outside seemed to sparkle brighter, as if acknowledging their journey. Lyra knew that this was only the beginning, of exploration, of growth, and of a bond that would shape her future in ways she could only imagine. The galaxy stretched before them, limitless and full of promise. And Lyra, once a distant admirer, now stood confidently as a partner, a learner, and an inspired being ready to face whatever came next. The human she had secretly desired had shown her courage, connection, and inspiration. And in return, she had discovered her own strength, her own courage, and the joy of partnership. The stars shone on, endless and bright. And for Lyra, the future had never looked so full of possibility.